And welcome back, guys. It is so good to be back. Another brand new edition of the TPB Nation, the Paranormal Voice. We are coming to you live from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. My name is Dale Quigley. I am, of course, the host of the Paranormal Voice, absent by his always absent, but never forgotten, our lovely co-host Michael John. He is out there. He's doing his thing. So, guys, I appreciate you guys sticking around, being with me here tonight. I have one fantastic lady coming your way in just a few moments, guys. The Everything has been going crazy out in the world right now, but I just want to send out my wishes and prayers to everybody out in Texas right now. Uh, Hope everything and everybody is safe and gets all the help that they need. So, guys, make sure you're praying out there to the good people of Texas. But right now, I'm going to bring out my lovely guest for tonight. She is best known as the psychic housewife of New Jersey. She is also the founder and CEO of Ghosted Magazine. She has also, you have seen some of her work. She has been on one of my favorite shows, the Holzer Files and Haunted Hotels and the Haunted Files as well. And she's currently working on some new stuff. We're going to talk about that and so much more, how she got to be where she is today. And I'll tell you, every time I turn on my social media, she is all over it. She is out there. She is doing it. So, guys, right now, I'd like you to welcome my lovely guest. This is April Busset. How are you?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, everyone.
Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you
Welcome to the
for having
Paranormal
me.
Voice. Welcome to the
I've been
streaming
watching
live
you.
from
You've been on my
Canada.
radar. You've been on my radar. I'm like, I feel like I know you. I
Uh,
said to my husband after I don't know how many years since I've come out of the broom closet, as I like to say, and I said to my husband, "Oh my God, these people are gonna get sick of seeing my freaking face." And I'm like,
Absolutely not, because you are such an inspiration to the paranormal community. You are out there, you are doing your thing, and you are, like I said, amazing. Like every time I turn on social media, there you are. You're doing it. You are all over the place. You're at all kinds of conventions right now. You're doing your talks. And everything else you're doing. So, I mean, I was just so happy when I finally reached out to you and said, "Hey, would love to get you on the Paranormal Voice. You've been on my wanted list since day one we started this show 4 years
"Isn't that
ago, and
funny?"
I'm
And I've
finally
been
getting here."
watching you. I've been watching you, dear. I've been watching you. Can I say something? There's something
Absolutely.
around your mother around you. I don't know if
Okay.
she's still here. There's this issue around mother, like unresolved stuff around mother.
Yeah, she's actually sitting in the other room. I actually take care
Okay.
of my mother. She is,
Okay. No, I'm not saying that because I don't think she was passed.
yeah, yeah.
But I just feel like unresolved stuff with her. I just feel like this woman has gone through a lot of pain in her life, and I feel like you have taken care of her. You have taken over as caregiver for her, but she has suffered greatly. This woman, like a lot of personal pains. I
Yes.
also, did she lose a child?
Yes,
Was there a
she
brother?
actually, yeah, she
Yeah,
did. In between me and my brother.
yeah. Because that was a great emotional trauma for her that
Yeah.
cut her deeply. And you taking care of her just speaks volumes
Oh, I
of
appreciate
what
that.
kind of
Thank you.
person you are. And it does not go unnoticed. It doesn't go unnoticed to the people in heaven watching over you. Who's like a B named Barbara Babs or something like that? Or
I'm not too
this is like
sure.
an aunt or type feeling, aunt, cousin, something.
See, I'm just,
I
I mean,
do.
I know a lot of my dad's side of the family have all passed away.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, okay.
he's only got one brother left.
Yeah.
But
This is
my,
like Babs or Barbara or something, Beth,
uh,
something.
because I know one of my favorite aunts that I used to stay with every summer, her name was Margie. Uh,
Margie?
yeah, Margie.
All right.
Uh, yeah, she passed away now. I want to say, God, my timetables in
Yeah.
my head are
Who
so
had
bad.
the heart condition? Who had the heart condition?
The heart condition. Well, I think they all died of cancer.
Okay, somebody has the heart condition. Somebody had something with the heart. Either it's heart attack, inflammation in the heart. This could be. So,
See,
this might
that
have
would
been
be
a
my
COVID.
mom's side of the family. My
Yeah.
uncle Ray passed away. Oh wait, what was his? My aunt B.
All
My
right.
aunt B. She was my
You have
mom's
COVID.
brother's. I can't remember when she passed away.
All right, because there's something like either with heart, almost feels like the heart is enlarged or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they have the B name has the child. They watch over the child for when she comes.
Oh,
Or
okay.
yeah. So I keep seeing something around picnic. There was like something like this was like a memory of having picnics, a picnic table, being outside with the family, picnic table. This is
Oh
the
yeah,
memories.
growing up all the time, going back to the East Coast, that's what we used to do. Sit outside, around the campfires.
Yeah.
All my aunts and uncles that played
This is what she showed me.
instruments
Yeah.
were
This is a great
playing.
memory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that
So she showed me this and is still doing this in heaven. Can I tell you something?
sure.
What we do here on earth, we do in heaven. Whatever your favorite memory is, where you want to live, is what your heaven will be. I did a reading one time for this woman, and I remember her father came through, and I remember saying to her, I said, "Oh my God." I said, "This man is in heaven and he lives on a golf course. That's his heaven." She starts up, she goes, "April, he lived on a golf course here when he was living." I said he was living on a
Wow.
golf course in heaven. It's whatever we see. Like I
Right.
remember right before my dad died, and he was talking to me, and he's like now he's talking gibberish. Didn't even know I was there. He didn't. That's right. He did not know I was there because my mother was with him, and I walked in, and he was dying. And
Wow.
he's like, "April, I see April. I'm giving April a cottage in the woods," and I'm crying because I mean, that's my dream, like to live in the woods in a little
Right.
cottage, and I'm like, that's my heaven. And like I see that, I always looking up through the trees and the sunbeams coming out. Like that to me is heaven, like with hearing the birds and stuff. But that's whatever our vision of our heaven is. And we can go visit everyone. So
Absolutely.
anyway, your this B has the baby and taking care of the baby for her. She said, "Your mother has been through so much pain, and thank God you stepped up. You had to become the man of the
Yeah.
house, and you sacrificed a lot. You sacrificed your life, but that's the greatest sacrifice in the world when we sacrifice for others.
Right.
So
No,
you will be rewarded."
I always look at life like this. My mother had to take care of me as a baby, raise me, feed me, take
Yeah,
care of me, teach me.
yeah,
The least I can do is do the same for her
yeah,
and to make sure she has the best life possible for however long she has left on this earth.
yeah.
And
She
I know
also,
my dad and my stepdad are both with her. She'll tell me all the time. She'll wake up and she'll say, "I had a dream about your father last night," or
who's Ed or Big Ed or something like that. Big something with a nickname
Big Ed.
or
I
Ed.
I did have an uncle Edward who was married to my dad's sister.
Okay. So also, does she have problems with her feet, like
Yes,
circulation in the feet?
yes.
Yeah.
She has. She's had multiple surgeries on her
I
legs, so
see
now
that.
she
Yeah.
has a hard time walking. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we're in the middle of the doctors trying to figure out how to get that circulation
I
to.
know because I see it because the circulation is cutting off. So I have to see the issues around it. It's from the ankle
Right.
down into the feet.
Yep.
Everything. I just almost like having like ghost feet, like like she doesn't feel it.
Yeah.
I do see the father like rubbing her feet like around her. Um, did she become religious? Who's the religious person?
She was always religious. She was
Okay.
always a very church-going person.
Okay.
Now she has a hard time getting to church, so
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, but
okay.
she says every night she prays before she goes to bed.
Yeah, because I see like she has listen, I watched something the other day and I made my husband watch it. My husband's very religious and this man explained why the good people always suffer.
Right.
What I can't the exact wording, but it's like God, because we are being rewarded. God did this for us to be strong, like to become strong. We were the ones bestowed to be stronger, that we were the ones that could handle this.
Right.
Others would not be able to. She wears, like, I keep seeing like the crown of thorns on her head. Like it's like she's always been, she sacrificed too a great deal.
My mother has been one of the biggest inspirational people in my life. Her kindness, her love for the world, and the things that she did. And I always tell this one story about my mother.
Who is this
Is
singer? Who sings?
that would be her niece. Her niece is a loves to sing. Actually, a lot of my mom's side of the family,
Yeah,
like
I
they were
did see that.
very instrumental people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The singer, This is, I see the people singing. I think your mom could sing too.
Oh yeah, she used to sing a
Yeah,
lot when we were kids.
yeah. But I mean, like, she has a good voice. It's not like just like me singing in the shower. Like, I don't have a
Yeah.
good voice, but like I think she's trained. She can sing. This brings her happiness.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. She
can I tell you something for two? You're coming out of, how can I say, coming out of the darkness. I could tell you for probably the past 18 years of your life have been a little rough.
right.
Really struggle. You have been all over the place. You have been scattered. You have not been organized, but it's not your fault. Life has been throwing you curveballs. You're finally just coming out of it now. I do see something work wise coming for you. There's going to be an offer or something. I don't know if it's through this paranormal podcast or something bigger, but there's another business side to this coming in for you.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
thank you.
So be prepared. You are finally walking out of darkness. You're the phoenix rising.
And that's why our logo has the phoenix in it. I
Oh, it's
mean,
really funny.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
oh my God.
yeah,
I
it's
didn't even realize that. That's so funny.
yeah, no, when the show originally created, there was four of us, and the two ladies went their way. They, God bless them, they went to do their thing, and then me and Michael John continued on with the paranormal voice. And
What's Michael John? Is that Michael John? What's his last name?
his last name is Michael John Ferry. He he
Okay.
is he is usually the co-host of the show. He's got himself. He's now back into professional wrestling after 20 years, something he never thought he would be back into. So now he gets himself busy. So I've got the reins of the paranormal voice, and I just going to continue on doing what we do, doing what I love, talking to amazing people, listen to everybody's story, how everybody got into the paranormal.
Yeah.
So I mean I just and like ever since we created this, I found a new lease on life, and I really found what my true calling is, and being able to talk about the paranormal and everything that's involved with the paranormal. I've truly found a whole new lease on life after everything. Actually, what I've been through, always lost, found trying to figure out a way to use my passion and to use it to have a voice for not only myself, but to others who don't have a voice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Don't lose focus of that. Always put your blinders on. Look forward. Don't listen to chatter around you.
No, I have actually learned a lot about shutting out the noise and just keep focused on what it is I want to do, where I want to go in, and where this is all going. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's always been, and I've been able to do some pretty amazing things. I did quite a few speaking gigs last year. So now kind of taking a little break this year because just a lot of issues going on, and I just want to be closer to home, so stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
Absolutely.
like I said, the opportunities to speak will always be there, and I appreciate everybody who's giving me those opportunities.
Well, you
And
know what, Dale? You know what you do? If you can't get there, you do it on social media. Get on TikTok. You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying?
absolutely,
Listen, I realize people like, I'm on, this is my office. This is where am all day doing readings.
right.
If I'm not at events, I'm here. This is
Right.
everything I'm thinking. Say, basically, everyone's on their computers now. Like they're most comfortable here. So, what better way to reach the people than on the platforms? You know?
Absolutely. I mean, this show started during the pandemic
Yeah.
because that's our only way to connect with people was through shows like this and other. So yeah,
I was
this
out.
sh-
I was out. I was still doing events. I was out because I just think. I say I said I didn't want the fear to take over me.
right.
There was too much fear in people over this stuff. But
Yeah.
we're not going to get into it. No,
No. But the only thing I will add to that is that I would say, for me personally, the pandemic was one of the best things that ever happened to me because it made me slow down. It made me
Yes. You know
realize,
what?
it allowed me to focus on myself again and focus
I said
on
the same
what I
thing.
really.
Yeah. Thought it brought families together.
Yeah, it did.
It brought the family together
Yeah,
because I mean, my husband worked throughout the whole thing, but I had my daughter here, all the time, and my husband coming home early. It just brought the family closer together.
absolutely. No,
But
I
it was
totally
weird
agree.
going out, seeing nobody on the highways.
Yeah. No, it was, yeah, when everything was shut down, it was just like you go outside. I remember just getting in my car and going for car rides, and it'd be like,
Yeah,
this is weird. Like, nobody is
I
out.
know. There was the craziest. Do you know? I actually wait. The reason why I kind of chuckled because I just did a TikTok live, right? So I have this one shirt that I won't throw away. It's like paisley, but it's bright pink and orange and everything. I love those colors. That's my website colors. And the reason I saved this is because in 2021, while we're going through a pandemic, I actually got called by a production company for a TV show, paranormal TV show. And while we were doing the interview, I had to keep doing like wardrobe changes. And this one shirt they loved, so I won't throw it out. So I wore it today. And my husband said, "When are you going to throw out that Aunt Camilla shirt?" I said I was picked because of this. I actually got a contract for this one TV show, but you know what? The pandemic took over and nobody can travel, so
Yeah.
that fell through. But I'm actually filming something now, so
Yeah, no, that's exciting.
yeah.
So I want our viewers to know, when was it that you discovered you had your gifts?
Oh, so that's so it's a very good question. So interesting is that I actually at 4 years old we moved. I grew up. I was born in Hoboken, New Jersey. Frank Sinatra, the home of baseball. That's
Oh,
where I
there
was
we go.
born. So, and I moved to this little town, and like when we moved in, it was like country land. It was called Little Ferry. So that's where we moved to. So we moved to this new house, and I remember we moved in. It was a big house, old house, and I remember one night I wake up like I had my own big room because we never had a room. We lived in a small apartment in Hoboken, and I wake up, my dad's there, and I'm talking to my dad and everything. So I'm screaming for my mom, Dad's here. I'm all excited. Family comes running in because I'm screaming in the middle of the night. And it turns out, I'm like, Daddy's here. We moved because my dad died.
Oh, wow.
So at 4, I'm seeing my dad. So that was my first encounter with my real dad that died. He died
Wow.
2 years prior. He died when I was 2. And we moved into this new house. It was crazy. And that's how it all started. So once that happened, it opened the portal. When he got through and I could see him, there was other entities coming in. And they weren't nice. Now I was under attack. Now I'm under attack by these horrible, someone demonic, someone just crazy. They were not they were not human, but human form. The notorious man, tall man.
Yeah.
That guy harassed me my like whole up into my teens. It was funny. I would hear him every night while I was trying to go to bed. I would hear him walk. I could hear him breathing. I could see him. I saw him in my head. I could see him, and I could feel him. And he would always come to my door. And the funny thing, because when it started happening, I started sleeping in my brother's room. For some reason, they can never crossed that threshold into my brother's room. And I can't figure out why. I don't know why. And hey, Steve. But somebody had mentioned that was an add-on, that room. Possibly that's why. But there was something, I was scratched, I was punched, I was pushed. My other family members had things happening where they were being grabbed and everything. I was seeing them. They were horrible. I mean, I had this thing, this black thing. I used to call it the statue that I woke up to one night, and I was playing with my doll. I woke up like facing outside my bed, and I'm playing with my doll. I roll over, and there's this little black thing. It's not even shaped like a person, but it's like a statue with red eyes, and it said 3 times. I'm only gonna say it once. I'm gonna get you. It said it 3 times, and I'm like, what? I screamed. I'm like, holy shit! That thing terrified me. It started invading my dreams. Like now they're invading my head. But I'm tough. I'm Sicilian. I'm an Aries, and I started fighting back with these son of bitches. But they were really, it was horrible growing up like that. And you don't realize that you're not telling people because you don't want to tell people that think you're crazy. Even at that age, you knew there was something wrong.
Right. Yeah.
So you would tell people. I would tell my neighbor across the street. I would go there every day. Like every day, I'm like, "Hey, Stu, did you hear me screaming?" Like this is thing in my. I was a little girl. So as a matter of fact, his the one son had a girlfriend that did something with psychic studies. She worked with, I forgot what it was. It's been so long ago. And they actually tested me for psychic abilities.
Wow.
And I forgot how old I was. I think I was 9. And yeah, so they started I was on the radar back then as a kid. And, as I got older, you start weaning away from it. And then I think I was around 16. I went to a psychic, and she's like, "Oh, you could do what I do." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I had these experiences and everything." And she gave me actually a deck of cards that I started working. I never knew how to read them.
Right.
Never knew how to read these friggin' things. And I just started doing readings for people, for free. I'm reading people. So my friend asked me, the parents asked me if I would do a reading for them. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just throwing these cards out. I'm like, all right, I see that there's somebody that's very sick, but I'm going to tell you that I know they're going to be okay. I keep hearing the word benign. At this age, I didn't know what benign meant. I didn't know anything about cancer or anything like that, but it's benign. They're telling me it's benign, that they are that this girl is going to be okay. Well, these people got up and walked up, didn't say 2 words to me. I said, oh my God, I must have did something wrong. I'm never doing this again. I was just scarred. I think a couple of days later, up to a week, I get a call from the mother thanking me for the reading. She said, my friend's sister, they found out she had cancer, but it came back, it was benign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I said, oh my God. I said, all right, thank you. My faith is back, because I was ready to, that's it. I'm done. I'm never doing this again.
That's it. Time to go. Can't do this.
But, people started hearing about me. So I started doing readings for people. So I'm doing readings for free. I'm doing phone readings. But I didn't want anyone to see me as I got older, because I don't look like a gypsy or anything like that. Not that I'm knocking anyone, but I'm not into all that garb, the black, dark, goth look. That's totally not me. I'm into pink nails, makeup, Botox, lipstick. I just didn't want people to know about me. So I would just do phone readings. But, and then where am I going with this? But I always thought, I always knew there was something different about me. So I became obsessed with I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched. As a matter of fact, that's my ringtone is Bewitched.
Oh, that is so good. That was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Yeah, and then I got obsessed with the Genie bottle. I actually own 2 Genie bottles, the original bottles, unpainted. Wow. Yeah, so I'm totally obsessed with her, because I said I have magic powers. How do I know things? I know things.
Right.
They first grade, they wanted to skip me a grade, because the teacher, I'm sitting there, and the teacher, whoever was talking to me was giving me the answers. Before she would write something, I would say the answer. So they thought I was uber smart. I'm like, and I remember them having a conference with my mom, like, we should let her skip a grade. I'm going, my mom, I'm not that smart. I said, I'm not smart. I'm like, but I didn't want to tell them, like, I don't know. People ask, like, I know people talk about they have like these guides and everything. I don't know who talks to me. I just get information.
Right.
Sometimes I'll see sometimes I'll get these people that'll come in and I'll see them pretty cool and stuff. But I just get the information. I call them downloads. I just know the information. I see it. I see visions. I see words. So yeah. So I just don't know how this all happened. But I'm gonna run with it, and I never wanted to do this professionally. Never,
Right.
never. And here's my life. I always wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a famous artist. But things happen. I think when I worked in corporate, I used to work in local government, went up suing them. There was a big to do in politics. Horrible. Politics is horrible. But I'm not a mealy mouse. I don't shut my mouth. I fight back. I fought back when I was the only one fighting like this big corporate, big government, and I won.
Yeah.
But I said to myself, I said to my husband, I can't go back to that. I can't do this again. I said, I think I'm coming out of the broom closet. I said, and I could spend time with my daughter. So all of a sudden I came in. So I went on social media, and all of a sudden, like, everybody from the woodwork was looking for me. Like, I guess I was starting to do lives. And I know, like, there was Daryl Marston brought me on to Paranormal Warehouse, and I started doing readings, and I'm getting like 10,000 people watching me. This is, I don't know how long ago. So I'm like, oh wow, then all of a sudden, Hollywood's calling me, Travel Channel called me for the Holzer Files, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, I've been only here for a minute.
Can I get settled in first before everybody?
I didn't want anyone to see me. No. Do I even hid from like my personal, like, I had a personal Facebook account. I'm like, I hid this from like people from. I mean, everyone knew there was, something about me, growing up, but not to this extent. And I'm like, so I was hiding from my high school friends and everything, and now I'm just out. So
you just have to cave in once in a while. But it's so interesting, where I mean, and a lot of people in the paranormal never thought they would be doing what they're doing. Because like you said, you had inspirations of being a famous artist because art was your passion.
Oh, that was.
But here you are, and the universe says, yeah, you might like art, but we really need you over here in the metaphysical world doing and sharing your gifts and the messages, because it's very hard to come by. I mean, yourself. Everybody and their grandmother claims to be psychic. There's people out there scamming people every day.
It's, what I tell you, it's such. I actually, Kim Russo. I did an interview. Kim Russo, she's flipping amazing. We talked about this, all the scams out there. If it's the bullshit. I was like on TikTok, and I said, you know what? I hate the people holding up the card. This me, here is, the Queen of Wands. This me, like, if anybody, you might as well just grab a deck of cards, tarot cards with the booklet, and read it yourself and read yourself. That's bullshit. I always say, I give you the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes. I'm giving you names. I'm giving you details.
Right.
Somebody came up to, I was at the Warren Paracon last year, and she was like, are you an evidential medium? And I said, is there any other kind? If they cannot give you evidence, they cannot read. And stop it. Stop scamming people, And it's a scam. Some people really believe they have the gift, and we all do, but we get it to a certain extent. Listen, we can learn. Like, I was when I was in school, I really was a great artist. I was great. Like, I won. I can't even tell you how many awards I won. But I remember my art teacher, I never thought people could be taught, but he did teach people how to paint, and they got really good. But not everyone could be a Picasso.
Right.
It's the same thing with this. Yes, you can train, but not everyone's going to get to that level. Let me tell you something. This is bestowed upon you. It is not something you can learn. You have to practice. There's no date on it. Like, everyone says, how do you get names? I said, you know what? it just started happening. I don't know what happened. Every few years, I get these downloads where I know how to do something different. Like one year, like I hate anything medical. Do I look like I would deal with blood or anything like that? No, I hate anything gruesome. My husband was my biggest fan and pushes me. One day I was going to do an event. He goes, "You should start doing medical." I'm like, "Ew, no freaking way. I don't want to see blood. That's gross." No. Well, I sit down and all of a sudden I can see everything medically going on with the person in front of me. And I'm like,
Wow.
mother fluffer. I'm like, because every time he says something, it happens. So now I can see when I see people, like it lights up red in certain sections.
Right.
And I actually hear words and I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I'm like, I'm trying to pronounce it to the people, like, oh my God, that's what I have. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, all right, I don't know. I'm hearing, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm from Jersey. We can't speak correctly. But I will, you want to hear something scary. My husband does this to me all the time. And I always tell this story, but it's funny. It's funny and scary at the same time. One day he said, you should really start doing world events. And I said, hell no. I don't like politics. I don't do anything controversial.
Right.
I'm not doing it. I'm not touching it. I don't want to do world events. It's too gloomy for me. I don't want to be one of those people. I just can't. It's too messy for me. Well, anyway, the next morning, of course, I wake up. I'm sitting here and I said, all right, guys, give me something. What's going to happen? So I hear active shooter. So I said, well, there's been a lot of active shooters. And then they show me my daughter. So I go into panic. My heart's racing. I said, all right, this is my imagination playing games. I mean, no, they're teaching me a lesson. Don't do this. But then after seeing her, I see my daughter. I see her. The voice goes, but she'll be far away. So I said, all right, that's it. I am done. I got up. I walked away from here. I can't do this. That night, 9:00 at night, my cell phone rings. I pick it up. It's my daughter. She goes, Mom, there's an active shooter. I fell to my knees. I still cry over this. She goes, but I'm far away.
Yeah.
Just like they told me. Now, people may say, oh, that's great, knowing everything. No, it doesn't work that way. They don't give me a time. They don't give me a date. I never want to ever go through that again because it was the most horrendous. I can't stop it. We can't stop it. We'll get glimpses, but we don't get dates, maybe, like Kim Russo, she asks a lot of questions. Like she's a Gemini. I said, Kim, maybe that's the way to go. Ask more questions. Me, I shut down. I didn't ask any questions. Like, when is this happen? Is she going to be all right? I just didn't want to deal with it. That's why I don't like to read family or friends.
Right. Just to go by your what you were getting. Now, see me, I've experienced stuff where I will have dreams about people I don't even know. And then within a few days, I see those people walking down the street. And I always sit there and I wonder myself, why am I dreaming about this person? Like nothing happens to them in my dreams, but I just see them.
Yeah.
And I don't know them from a hole in the wall. And they're complete strangers.
See, because spirit will not come to you unless it has information.
Right.
Spirit only comes to information. It's not going to throw things at you. And, like pareidolia, that's like, yeah. Our mind automatically, like, when people show pictures and, it's a face, our brains automatically see faces.
Right.
It's scientifically proven. But, that's pretty weird that happens. But you have to start asking questions. Why am I seeing this person? Even in your dreams, like, why am I seeing this? Even when you wake up, why am I seeing this? What is the reason? Who is this person? Are you going into your future self? Are you seeing the next day?
Right.
Are you like, what is it? Timeline skipping?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. Are you seeing your future? Are you like astro projecting your body into the future?
See, I've always been really cool. I've always been fascinated by what do they call it now? The word just eluded me.
Not astral projection. No.
Like that. No, but where you can put yourself at a location, but not physically.
Oh, remote viewing.
Remote viewing, yes.
I do remote viewing. It's really cool. I trained in the CIA way.
Okay.
It's not my favorite thing to do. I just it's too cold. I draw outside the lines. So the way I do it is differently. Do you know for the Holzer Files, that's how I did that?
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you.
I got to go back and watch that episode because
Yeah.
the Holzer
But
Files.
it doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to say I was psychic. I
Right.
wasn't. But they called me. Now I'm a new mom. Like my daughter, I forgot how old she was. This is 2019. Wait. No, not 2000. Was it? I can't even add in my head. I'm not a mathematician. And when that was in school, it was math too. I kept blurting out the answers before she wrote it down. And I'm looking at my mom. I'm like, I'm not smart. I'm stupid. I'm like,
but I knew the answer before she asked it.
Yeah, remote viewing is fun. I remember I trained the CIA way. I actually took a course on it, which was pretty cool. And I've worked. I did like a mini classes on it, like when I teach,
right,
to teach my students how to do this, but not the CIA way. It's numbers. They give you coordinates. They give you coordinates, and I'm like, all right, what do you see? And I'm like, all right, I see a house, tree, plane in the backyard. It's crazy. It was too robotic for me. I'm an artist. I have to be free falling. Like let me do this free flowing.
Let's paint the picture.
Yeah. I want to let me be outside the lines. So the Travel Channel called me. What the hell's the name of the production crew called me. They're like, hey, have you ever been to the Lambert Castle? And I'm like, no, where is it? They're like, in New Jersey. I said, are you freaking kidding me? I said, I don't live there. And I'm like,
but honey, we're moving. We got a castle.
So I said, no. I said, but I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing. Now, this is my remote viewing. I said, people are seeing a woman in white. And I said, I am looking she's in grass. She's by a tree. And I see her walking through the grass, going up to a stone wall where there's a man standing, but he disappears. And I know she's like, oh my God, where is he? That's the whole thing. She's trying to find this man. So now I've never been there. That's the remote viewing. Now I said, let me go there. Let me see what I pick up. I go to Lambert Castle. And at the time I was working in local government. So I had to go. I got there probably 4:30. The place, it's a museum, but it was closed. So I said, let me walk around. And I'm walking around. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I see the grass, the tree, the stone wall. I'm like, that's where I saw the girl. Wow. Walking up in the white dress, go up to, but now I'm walking around the castle and I hear a woman crying. Like it's gut-wrenching cry. And I said, oh my God, that is the cry of a mother that lost a child. It's like, as moms, we know the cries of our babies. Each cry means something else. And we innately, intuitively know that. And I knew that as a mother, this lady's in pain. And all of a sudden, I am out of my body. I'm in this room above me with this woman in this bedroom. There's this little woman in a black dress with the white collar, dark hair, back in a bun. And she's sitting on the bed and she's crying in her hands. And she looks up at me and she goes, I'm not who they think I am. And I said, oh, I got you, lady. I know what you're talking about. So now later on, so I'm holding on to this information. I actually wrote it down, so it's time stamped. I always timestamp everything I write down.
Okay.
So yeah. So I go to film. I go there and to the castle. I'm there for like 11 hours. And I walk into the castle. The production crew meets me, and then the first person I meet is Shaden Pippin.
Oh, it's the nicest guy in the world.
Nicest guy in the world. And I always tell Shane, I said, I always love Shane because Shane showed me where the snacks were. The snacks and the coffee. So now
two greatest things on an investigation. You need snacks and coffee. That's as long as you got that, you got everything.
For real, like I like Slim Jims. We always talk about like what's your favorite food on an investigation? Mine's Slim Jims.
See, I like jerky, beef jerky.
Yeah, beef jerky, Slim Jims, whatever. Yeah. That's I like. Anyway, so now, all right, the production. All right, we're going up to see Dave Schrader, right? So I have to walk up these stairs. So I'm walking up the stairs with the with the producer, and we're coming around the corner, and there's this big window with a windowsill with this picture, and I'm walking past it, and I'm grab the producer. I'm like, that's the woman I saw, and it's a picture of a woman in a white dress. I said, that's the one I saw. He goes, April, that's Isabella, the daughter, Isabella Lambert. I said, that's who I saw. She's the woman in white. So now we go up, we're talking to Dave, and I'm telling Dave the story, we had to change it because it was raining outside, so we couldn't do outside the actual place where I saw.
Okay.
So we had to do it inside because it was raining.
Right.
But I had to say that I saw it in the dream.
Right.
So that's it. So I had to say I dreamt it. Anyway, so I'm telling Dave the story, about Mrs. Lambert crying and everything in the room, and I pointed and I said, that's the bedroom. That's where she cried. I heard her crying. And so then I told him the picture. I said, as we're coming up, I said, I know everyone's seen the lady in white. I said, that picture is the woman, lady in white. She was talking about Isabel. That was her daughter. She died because I was telling her the woman was crying from the loss of children. And she tells me that Mrs. Lambert had lost 5 children, including Isabella. But the whole time, the people thought that Mrs. Lambert was the woman in white. It wasn't. It was the daughter, Isabella.
Wow.
But that's why she said, I'm not who they think I am. She wasn't. Right. She's not the one haunting the castle. It's the daughter.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's.
So wait, get this. This is the best part. So later on, now Cindy, Shane, and Dave are doing their investigation. And what do they hear come from that bedroom? A woman crying.
Wow.
And it's caught on audio. So it's like, it was great. So I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no, I sat here one night. I believe it was after one of the Michigan Paracons up in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Dave and Shane. It was the first time I met Shane Pittman and everything. And I came home, and I always loved the Holzer File. I remember back in the day. So I found it on Discovery Plus that they had the Holzer Files series. I sat around for 2 days and I just watched everything for 2 days because I love that series so much. I mean, Hans Holzer, one of the icons of the paranormal field, like he was the guy that really his stories, his background, and the way he did things was so fascinating. And I was so I always wish they would. I know talking to Dave Schrader and Shane, like they'll never bring back the show.
They are.
Oh, are they?
Wait a minute. Wait. Let me tell you a little story. Let me tell you something. I love Hans Holzer's. I grew up with Hans Holzer. The Warrens, the greatest people that I'm so grateful for them because they gave us a platform.
Yes.
And I hate all these bitches. I'm sorry, all you whining little bitches out there like, I hate the Warrens and the Animals Fate, Zach Bagans. Listen, let me tell you something. If it wasn't for these people, you little whiny asses would still be in your mama's basement and you wouldn't be making money or have an outlet for this.
Right.
So stop you want. Respect the people that brought this to us.
No, absolutely. The people, the Warrens, absolutely. Hans Holzer, people, that was able to open up doors for everybody to get into the paranormal.
Because we would still be the weirdos in the closet. What do you think? I never wanted to be seen. I never wanted to be looked at like as a weirdo. You know?
I wear the weirdo badge like a proud honor. I mean, I'm proud to say I'm a weirdo.
I was, but I also was cheerleader. I was a cheerleader weirdo. I did.
That is so amazing. But I want to talk about your magazine, Ghosted Magazine.
Yeah. Ghosted.
So, I mean, what prompted you to create such a magazine? And I mean,
oh my god,
I every time I see it, it comes out. I will have to, now that I know you do ship it to Canada, I will be ordering some copies. So I love I used to be a huge subscriber to the Paranormal Underground magazine.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was my favorite.
I'll have to send you a copy. You have to give me your address.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. I know, but yeah, no, I mean, I love magazines like this
Yeah.
because
So
you learn so much and you get to. I mean, that's how I met quite a few people was from
yeah.
Paranormal Underground. They would write stories about teams, people, and
That's
stuff
what I
like
did.
that.
I
And
try to look for like smaller teams that are lesser known, because believe me, you would not believe how many people write to us, and they just want their 15 minutes of fame. They're out there trying too hard, and I get it, and I'm all for that. But I like to handpick these small teams. Michael does too. I came up with this idea. I don't know how many years ago. I said, and I remember my agent. Even I said to my agent, I said, one day I'm gonna have a magazine. I'm gonna do a paranormal magazine. I want to do this, and so one day I was driving, and this, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I'm driving. I said, you know what? I'm coming out my magazine. I'm doing my magazine. I called up one of my friends. I knew he did graphic arts. It's Michael Castro, and it's Michael. You want to do this? And that's how we started it. And that was my vision for so long, because I have, because I've done so many events. I've worked with so many celebrities in the field that I said, I have access to all these people, and plus of what I do, so I have inside stories, and I want to go for the smaller groups, bring these smaller groups in. I want to bring the little people through,
right,
not the ones out there with the megaphone. I'm great, we have the greatest team. I don't know. I want the people with the fire in their belly. If you keep reaching out to me, I'm gonna ignore you, because I want the little people. I
right,
was in Ohio. One of the first teams I did was Three Souls Paranormal. I met them in Ohio. I was doing an event. I did an event in Hillview Manor, and then I crossed over to Ohio to do another event for a friend, the Gretchen Fest. And I met this team. We're talking. We're just BSing, and I love they had the fire in their belly. Like, when, like when we first started doing investigations, how exciting it was. It wasn't about taking selfies, which I do too, so I don't care. But, selfies, filming ourselves, put it,
right.
on social media. These people had it, they had the fire in their belly. They were enjoying it. They were out there going to places that I've never heard of. They showed me evidence that was amazing. They were my first group of unknowns in the magazine, and still friends with them to this day. So that's what we try to go for. Plus, of course, you got to have that celebrity background. I love Adam Berry. Adam Berry is on the cover of this
I
issue.
saw that. Adam
And
Berry another amazing gentleman in the
let me
paranormal
tell you
field.
something. I told Adam, I've worked with him so many times. I said, Adam, I sit back because I watch everything. I'm always and he engaged. We were all hired. We were all hired to do an event in Wisconsin. All of us, me, Adam, Jason Hawes, Shari DiBenedetti, Ronnie LeBlanc, Aaron Sagers. Who else was there? The paranormal couple. Um, Mike Rick said it. So we were all at this event, and Adam Berry, we had the VIP, we had to do the VIP party, so we have to go around and talk to everyone and everything. Adam Berry makes sure he goes to every table, talks to everyone. He does not leave until he talks to everyone.
Right,
And it's not fake.
right.
He just really loves his fans. His line is always so long. And I said, I can't wait to do a story on him. And he was one of my favorite interviews to do. So I'm like, I love this issue. I love this issue. And guess what? Do you know what? I forgot to get to our last issue was with Cindy, Dave Schrader, and Shane Pittman, because Shane, of course, has
Beacon
um
tele,
yeah, Beacon, yeah,
Beacon TV.
Stream Beacon TV,
Yeah,
right? So it's him, Joshua Purvis, and Michael Cook, the owners of this. And let me tell you something, Stream Beacon TV is going to be huge, huge. So they brought back Cindy, Dave, and Shane doing the show. It's the Holzer Files picking up where they left off, but under a new name, Paranormal Mysteries.
yeah.
So they are back. That was a great show. So they're doing the
Wow,
same thing. I got
that
some
is
behind the scenes stuff with them, and it was pretty cool. That I can't talk about, but that issue, that our last issue, sold out. Sold out.
nice,
So
nice.
I mean, yeah. There's
I
no
mean, those three. I mean, Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman and Cindy. I mean, We've had Dave Schrader on the show, and
I love Dave.
talking to him and saying that when you watch the Holzer Files, you see three people that click so well together and work so well
Yeah.
together that it's even when Dave Schrader did a show, I think it was called something on the Devil's Porch.
Oh, Devil's Perch.
Devil's Perch, that's it. I watched that, and him and Cindy were on that show,
Yeah.
and you could just, I mean, when one of those combinations are together, it is such spectacular TV. They do so well. They bring the best out of each other, and
Yeah.
I mean Shane himself. Like I got to spend a few days with Shane last year. We were speaking at an event up in Thunder Bay, Ontario here,
Hmm.
and it was the first time I actually got time to really sit down and talk with Shane.
Yeah.
And I mean, besides being the most southern gentleman you'll have ever met, I
Yeah.
mean, the South comes out of him so much. But wow, like his thought process, the way he approaches things is so genuine. It's just something that he loves to do.
Yeah, he really does. He's a great guy. But I'm telling you, Stream Beacon TV. That's the new. That's listen. There's no more TV shows right now. There's not going to be. I have friends on TV shows. I know I'm working on a TV show, but it's with another network.
Right.
I can't say anything yet.
Right.
It's a major network, though. It's
Just stay tuned, folks. She is all over. The name April, Psychic Housewife of New Jersey, is going to be in your face every single day, and we love that.
I love you, oh, Dale. I love you.
We got somebody who just chimed in here. I don't know if you would be able to
Yeah,
help
I'm not
this
going to
person.
do readings right now, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't want to get into that
Yeah.
because it's a little.
So
yeah.
Christina, if you want to get a hold of April, get a
Yeah.
hold of her on her social media through her website.
Yeah,
Just get a hold of her. She'll be able to help you out there
I
for
will
sure.
tell you something. Attachments are very, very rare. They TV has really glorified it, and
Yes.
and it's very rare to get an attachment. Listen, let me tell you something. I've been doing this for years. As a matter of fact, let me tell you what you don't realize is I have been doing haunted homes since a teenager because when I first came out, now this is over 30 years I'm doing this. So when I first came out, people heard about me. So now people started calling me, hey, listen, something going on in my house. I've been doing this by myself. What am I crazy? I'm like, I didn't realize it. I'm like, I can't tell you the friggin' shit that has happened. I had things thrown at me. And this is funny. Every time I go to locations, it's a joke between my business partner. I will have almost every place I go to, I have pebbles thrown at me. It's the funniest thing. Pebbles, little pebble rocks thrown at me. Well, like if you're sitting and talking to me at a haunted location, you'll see pebbles being thrown at me.
See, now if you were in the woods, I'd be going, okay, now we have a Bigfoot experience.
Bigfoot,
Pebbles inside a location. So now I have to ask you, now out of all the events and all the places you visit, what would you say would be the most craziest thing that's ever happened to you while you were doing an event at a location? Not necessarily doing an investigation because, like you said, you're just sitting at your table, you're getting pebbles thrown at you.
Yeah.
What would be one of the most memorable things that you can think about that ever happened to you at one of these events?
Okay, so I'm going to. It's not. Well, wait. I did an event there a couple times, but one of the craziest places I've. Wait, let me see. Wait. White Hill Mansion.
Okay.
The Shanley Hotel. That's where I first had the pebbles thrown at me. The Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York. I cannot tell you how many crazy things have happened to me there. It's insane. I remember the first day walking in there. Now, this is just going there with friends, right? So it's like during the day and everyone's bringing our stuff. I'm sitting in the kitchen table. I have I'm facing like the front door, and behind me is like the bathroom and I upstairs the oh, what is that called? Whatever. There's something upstairs. I'm by myself. But I thought my friends were there. I feel a hand on me, like just like this, like a hand grabbed my shoulder, and I thought it was my friend. And I turned around and said, "Hey, nobody's there." I felt a hand. I go outside. I'm like, "Oh my god, I've been touched." Nobody was in the place with me. That was the first experience. Now I'm
Wow.
talking to the owner. Blah blah blah. We're talking blah 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 blah. And I see this black mass against the floor. I'm like, what the hell was that? Like this black mass mist go across the wall. It's their spirit cat. Oh, wait. When I first pulled up, I forgot. When I first pulled up here, right? I pull up in my parking spot and I'm looking up at the place because I'm like trying to get a feel for it. And I see this man jumping off the roof and dying. So I'm like, and he kept doing it. I'm like, all right, enough. I get it. I go inside and I say, "Hey, Kelly, I said, this man keeps jumping off the roof." There's a story that you see online. A man was sitting in the window, fell out the window, but survived. Actually, a man jumped off the roof and died.
Wow.
So this is the first time I'm there. So and I remember walking into this group with paranormal investigators. I'm just newly out with people. And I said, I keep hearing the name Walter. This guy, Walter, keeps telling me he owns the place. Blah, blah, blah. This and no Walter here, nothing. Well, after they kept getting the name Walter on all the, on the recordings and the spirit boxes, they later researched and found that the guy next door to the Shantley, his name was Walter. He used to come to Shanley all the time and tell people he was the owner of the place.
Oh, wow.
I know, so nobody knew this.
No, because they're just doing what they can research on the actual building and the actual people, not the guy next door claiming
not the
he
guy
owned
next door. Yeah. So it's funny now. All right. So another time I go there, so I'm with the group now. I am afraid of the dark, petrified of the dark. So I'm not going to go off in the dark without a flashlight. I mean, we're upstairs on the third floor. We're in Joe's room, in the kids' room, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, I feel drawn. Like I'm in a complete. I'm chaotic. Not chaotic. Comatose type of being drawn to this room at the end of the hall to the left. I would never have done this. I would never have walked in the dark into this dark room. I walk in there, and this woman is screaming at me. She's like, ah, ah. She's screaming in my face. She's screaming out the window. I'm like, shut up. I'm going, shut up. So my friend comes in after me. He goes, what are you doing? I said, don't you hear her? He said, I don't hear that. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, shut up. Because she kept going to my face. Because I'm in a trance. I'm in a trance at this point. This woman also, I feel her. She tried to jump me to get inside me. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, that's why I said it's very difficult for people to do that. Anywho, that's like one of the scariest things. Then there was another time I was there and I am like squatting down, like, like when you squat down, I'm leaning up against the wall. I'm with a bunch of friends. We're just like investigating. This is nothing for TV. Nothing's being filmed. And all of a sudden, I get pushed. I fall down on my face. And I get up in front of my friends and they're looking at you, okay? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm kind of tearing up. And I thought, I'm like, all right, that was a hard fall. I'm like, maybe I lost my balance, but that was a hard fall. My friend looks at me. I said, I must have lost my balance. He goes, April. He goes, you fell on your face. He goes, you were pushed so hard, you didn't even put your hands out. I said, oh my God. My scientific mind, that makes sense. If you feel yourself falling, what's the first thing you do?
Put your hands up.
I didn't put my hands out. I fell on my face. I was pushed so violently. It was in that same room with that woman.
Right.
So, yeah. So
that is absolutely amazing. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to the Ohio State Reformatory.
No, I heard about it.
That place is, I mean, If you ever do an event there, I am so there because that is one of my favorite places in the world to hang out.
Yeah.
I did an investigation there 2 years ago with some amazing investigators because it was like a dream location
Yeah,
for me
when you
to
dream location,
investigate.
yeah.
And I'll tell you, and they have an amazing event there every year in May. It's called the Parasite Con.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yeah.
so it is one of my favorite events to get to, and just if and it's only 3 hours from my house, so it's like I try
Oh,
to
that's
go there as
perfect.
much
That
as I. Oh
oh my God, as investigators, that's like a hop and a skip, because we travel so far, Now I said that's it. I'm
absolutely.
just like I get hard to go to these places. I said from now on, you guys are flying me. I'm not driving anymore. I'm done. This event. I'm doing an event this weekend in Connecticut. I'm at the Connecticut Paranormal Paracon and
Okay,
wait, True Crime Conference. That's it. So
nice.
I'll be there in Connecticut. That's 2 hours away from me, so it's no big deal.
I was just going to ask you. This is your moment to tell the listeners and the viewers out there where you're going to be, what you're up to, how to get a hold of you, and all
Oh,
that
okay.
good stuff.
Yeah. So the best place to go is to go to my website, intuitiveapril.com. It has all my appearances, all my events, how to book me for a reading, um, just all my reviews. I have thousands of reviews from my clients are worldwide. I have like Australia, Canada, Italy, United Emirates, Switzerland, Sweden. Oh my God, I the list is unbelievable. But these are my steady clients from all over the world, so I do this every day. But you can see, like what's coming up for me. So it's a lot of fun when I do the in-person events. It's a lot of fun when I do my lectures. It's not just a lecture. I always do readings. I always throw in gallery readings. That's it. I always say to people, you don't want to hear me talk. You want to hear shit. You want to hear from your loved ones. So I'm gonna
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure you would give an amazing lecture, but you're using what you're given, and yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I imagine during most conferences, like other mediums and psychics, they get hounded by messages for people that are at that event.
Yeah. I've done gallery. Listen, let me tell you something. When you get a reading with me, or if you're at one of my events, you get meat and potatoes. You're not getting bullshit. You're not getting. I have a female older here around you. I'm not doing that bullshit. I'm like, your mom's here. She's like, if you look me up, if you see it in my videos, if you look on my social media, my videos, I'm giving you names, I'm giving you details. That sets me apart from like everybody else. Like
Right.
there's so many people that just so vague. Of course, come on. You can look at somebody. Oh yeah, they gotta have somebody older, an older female that's passed. And
Right.
then I saw somebody do this one time, and they're like, um, "Is your I have an older male here. It's either a father, uncle, or brother."
Well, your chances are pretty well right.
All right. So the lady's like, "Oh, my uncle died. He's here and he loves you." Okay.
Uh, I mean, April. I mean, I can't believe this hour went by so fast.
I
I'm
know.
definitely gonna have to get you back on this show because
Yeah. You know
uh,
what? Listen, get me back on. Let's do readings. We'll do live readings.
awesome. Sounds like a great show to
It's,
me.
let me tell you.
We will get we will get I will work out how many people you think you would need, and we will get people on here, and I'm sure it would be a great honor to have you
We'll
do a
have
reading on this show.
anytime. We'll have a blast. It's fun. We'll have a great time. Get to as many people as I can. So
All right.
we'll do it.
There you have it, folks. This is April Busset. She is the New Jersey psychic
I know
housewife of New Jersey.
it's a mouthful.
She is also the founder and creator and the mind behind Ghosted Magazine. Guys, go visit her at any one of her. Oh, getting a leg cramp. Sorry.
Go
Go
for
see
it.
her at any one of her events. Meet up with this lady. Get a hold of her for a reading. You will not be disappointed. I enjoyed this hour so much.
Me too.
April, you are a true blessing. You are a sweethearted woman, and I finally got the opportunity to
Me
sit
too,
down and
Dale.
talk with you. And and be able to pick your brain a little bit. And you are such an amazing person. And
You are amazing.
please keep doing what you're doing. And guys, follow her on all of her social media. Go over to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You will find her everywhere and anywhere. And watch out for her. She's got a new project that's coming out. I'm sure she'll announce it as soon as she possibly can. But guys, subscribe to her magazine. A lot of great information in there. In the meantime, and in between time, guys, I want to thank everybody who was here on the side watching us today, tomorrow, next week, and down the road. Please be safe out there. You are loved, and you definitely matter. In the meantime, we will be back again in probably 2 weeks with a brand new episode of the Paranormal Voice. See you guys all later. Happy hauntings.